Hi Queens, Sam here. How are you doing? How are you doing? I know it's been a few weeks now. I said I was going on 2 week vacation and literally disappeared. And I believe my last video was me sharing with you 3 books that I intended to read during my vacation. That did not happen. I think I went through I read like half of the Judge Lynn Toller book during my 2 week vacation because so many things happened during that entire vacation. And we are getting a thunderstorm here, so you may hear some raindrops in the background. But I'm still carrying on because I really want to do this video. It's been too long that I haven't checked in with you. So, I want to share in this video a few things with you, especially if you are planning to travel this summer that maybe I did not think of because I was so ingrained in my preparation, excited on, finally taking a vacation, a long vacation, and flying down somewhere after 2 years of restrictions. So, the first thing is if you live in Canada and you're planning to travel within Canada, expect to spend much more than if you were going down south, like in the United States or like Latin America or even Europe. I don't know why traveling within Canada is so expensive. And full disclosure, I'm not a budget traveler, especially with a little one. There are certain accommodation that I will not consider, but I'm not also a luxury traveler. I'm quite reasonable with, when it comes to my accommodation. But definitely one thing that I did on this trip that maybe I usually don't do on some trips, on most trips actually, is to rent a car because we're going out east and we're going for 2 weeks, and the goal was to visit 3 different provinces: New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia. So I was really excited because I always wanted to visit this part of the country. I live in Ontario. I've lived in Ontario for most of my time since I moved. I actually immigrated to Canada. So I really wanted to discover East Coast. And so I was excited about that. But also the second reason why I wanted to go was to check investment properties out there. So one of my interests is in real estate investment, and properties out east much more affordable than in Ontario where I live right now. So I was like, there might be some opportunities for me to visit some properties there and maybe find something that would be interesting to me. We did view quite a bit of some properties out there when we were there, but unfortunately none that I really liked enough to make an offer on. But I still have my eyes set on that part of the country. I'll continue to still I made some connection with like realtors out there, so they keep me informed on what's coming up on the market. So that's the first thing. If you travel within Canada, expect to spend much more than if you were going down south. And I think that's why a lot of Canadians don't really travel within Canada. So someone needs to do something about it to really encourage people within Canada to get to know the country, because the country is huge. Definitely it's worth traveling within and discover different part of it, but no, it's quite expensive, like the flight, the accommodation, renting the car, and even the food and all of those things. Too expensive. Second thing, if you travel in this summer, expect delays. Expect delays with your flights, and expect that your luggage will not arrive at the same time. Both of those things happened to us, and I just did not expect that. I realized that a lot of people were relieved that the restrictions were lifted somehow and that they could travel. And so the demand is quite high at this time, and the supply, the services are not there. So that actually causes a lot of cancellation of flight, delay of flight, luggage being lost, being delayed. So for us, our flight were delays. We arrived 3 hours after we planned to arrive. Our luggage did not arrive at the same time. It arrived 3 days after. So I ended up having to go and get some essential things like toiletries and diapers for my little one. and some clothing, like things that you need on a day to day. And unfortunately, like I said, I was not prepared for it, so I had a backpack, but I did not have anything that could really sustain us for like 3 days. So that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind, because that in itself can make you spend much more money than you anticipated. Another thing is, like I said, I'm not a budget traveler. I'm not really too fussy with my accommodation. However, I like it to be clean. I like it to be at a certain level, like so I can feel comfortable sleeping there. And unfortunately, the hotel that we booked in Moncton, our first city that we were visiting, was not what we expected. So we ended up just spending one night there and having to change hotel for the rest of our stay. And that in itself also caused unexpected, like more money that we ended up spending. The other thing is, consider booking hotels or like places where you have the breakfast included. So that's good. Like Wi-Fi usually comes, it's quite normal right now, but like some places will not offer breakfast. So just to be able to save on meals, especially that you will be spending much more on food when you travel than when you're at home. At least when you book at places where the breakfast is included, then that's like one meal that you don't have to worry about. And luckily, if it's a good breakfast, you can have enough to feel full enough that maybe you'll have a later lunch. You don't have to have a lunch at the same time. But anyway, that's one thing that we definitely paid attention to. So all of the hotels we stayed during our 2 week trip had breakfast included, except the Airbnb, the cottage that we booked when we were in PEI. That one did not have breakfast, and that was fine. We just did a few groceries for those days that we were there. So that's that. So again, it's not like I mean, it's good if you really want to travel this summer. My recommendation will be, if you can, definitely wait after September, because right now schools are closed, universities are closed. Most parents are taking their time off during summer and they want to travel. And because so many people have been stuck at home for the past few years, even if they see that things are much more expensive, well, they're eager to travel and they have the money for it because they haven't spent it in the past year. So if you are someone who's really tight on your budget, or like you don't really want to be paying things, too much money, definitely, and if you can, wait after September to travel. I did travel like in June, so that was, I say, at the beginning of it, but even that I still felt like things were much more expensive than I anticipated. And of course, having to buy some extra stuff during our trip made the whole travel budget balloon. Like, I think I haven't tallied everything yet, but I think I probably spent double of what I anticipated to spend on this trip. And even what I was planning on spending was, for me, already a lot of money compared to, like I say, if I was taking like a 2 week all-inclusive somewhere in Jamaica or like Dominican or something like that. But like I said, for me, it was a one lifetime trip, and I really wanted to do it. And again, I also wanted to check some properties out there, so I was able to do all that. But we spent a lot of time on the road, which definitely contributed, I think, to my exhaustion at the end of the trip. And coming back, I was super tired. I really needed the time to recover, get back into my routine. And that's why you guys didn't hear from me for a few weeks. So now I'm back, and I'm interested to know if you took some time off. Where did you go? How was your experience? Or if you're planning on traveling, where exactly you're planning on going? Don't forget to like this video, and also hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. In the next weeks, I'll be sharing more information about Black women building wealth, things to keep in mind. And until next time, keep on building wealth.